Lord, you know. So wherever you send me, I'll go, and I'll always love you first, 'cause you're the only one who knows my worth. Lord, you know. So wherever you send me, I'll go, and I'll always put you first, 'cause you're the only one who knows my worth. All right, all right, all right. I'd like to welcome everybody, the few that's tuned in so far, to this episode of the all new Broken Chains Ministry Inspiration Hour. And I was having some difficulties because I cannot tell whether or not you guys I'm actually live or not. Because as soon as I hit the live button, my phone just blanked out. So let me know if you guys can hear me clear. Let me know if you can see me clear before I go into this and everything. I just want to make sure that everything is heard clear, and we can get it started. It's like as soon as I can. Okay. As soon as I started, phone just went to acting up. But we're gonna start this the right way. I just want to say thank you for everybody that's tuning in, and I'm still waiting for it to still pop up. But we're gonna start it off the right way. Can't start off something with inspiration without asking God to lead it. So Lord, it's in your name, in your Son Jesus Christ's name, that we ask you to step in, intervene any interaction or any distraction that is focused on stopping this broadcast or whatever it may be, to stop and distract everybody from the message being delivered. Lord, I ask that you continue to give me the strength, the knowledge, and everything that it takes to speak your word. And Lord, you know I'm very seldomly embarrassed, so embarrassment is not a point here. This is a point of obedience where I'm told, I listen, and I speak as I'm told to. So I just ask that you give me the strength to grab the knowledge that you want me to share with everybody and open up their ears so they can hear it as clear as spoken. We know there's so many distractions out here, Lord, so I ask that you continue to keep everybody focused on the bigger picture. And I'm sending prayers of health, stability, wealth over all my friends and family. And I ask that you continue to watch over them. And I send a special prayer out to my baby boy Hayden. I send a special prayer out to him. I ask that you hold him in your arms, keep him comforted, and keep his health in order. Lord, I ask that you continue to bless everybody that is serving you in the right way, Lord, and watching over those who are not. I know that you love the ugly just as well as the pretty. So, Lord, I just ask that you continue to guide us all. So all of these things I ask you in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen. All right, now what we're talking about today, we're gonna be discussing something that a lot of people don't understand. It's easy for people to say, I love myself, I love this person. But what we're gonna be talking about today is something very detrimental. It's called self-love. You know, so many people are so busy trying to love everything else out here in the world that they seem to forget about their self. So, okay, now that so it's clear. So, in the midst of all of those things, you know, the biggest question is this: how could you love something or someone else if you don't love yourself? And we always say, oh, we know God's a loving God, and every angle of that is true. Now, God showed us that he's so much of a loving God that he gave something he loved so much so that we can have, we can be free of our sins. We can start new and everything, but it's up to us to control and show appreciation for the grace and mercy that he showed us. So what I want to do, I'm traditional. I'm different from everybody else. You may see a lot of people going to the Bible and turn it. I speak from the heart. He give it to me. I speak it every once in a while. You may see me look over because I'm reading off something that I already researched and looked up. So basically, I'm gonna start off with the book of Genesis, book of Genesis, verses 1. And if anybody knows the book, Genesis 1:26, where it said, God said, let us make mankind in our image. God's a good God. God loved everything. So if you're made in the image of someone that loved everything and everybody, that will make you a loving person. It don't mean you love everything else outside yourself, because to love everything, you have to love self.
That and self-love comes in so many forms. It's in the forms of taking care of your body, making sure that your health is up to par. You know, a lot of times you see people that work out constantly, and you say, man, he got to be crazy. You gotta no, that's a person that physically, well, some people, it may be some that's just obsessed with it, or low self-esteem will have you do things as well, but maintaining your health. If they say gluttony is a sin, obesity, is a form of gluttony because we overeating. This is a body that God gave us, and if we want to show Him that we love Him, we got to take care of it. I'm guilty. I'm just as guilty as everybody else because you know what? I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. So, in that book, it's showing how he wanted to make us in His image, His likeness is so that we can rule over the fish and the sea and the birds and the sky, over the livestock and all the animals. But in order for you to do that, you have to love those things. If you don't have a love for something, you're not going to care for it. That's the same as a relationship. If you don't really have a care or a love for your mate, you're not really going to do for that person. You're not going to cater to their feelings. You're not going to cater to anything for that person because you don't really have the love for it. But in order to have that love for it, you have to have self-love first. And some people may think, oh, well, you can't be selfish. You got to put others before yourself. You have to love self in order to love someone else. That's not selfish. How can you give your all to somebody if you haven't found your all in yourself? And feel free. A matter of fact, while I'm doing this, I do want to I want to put the numbers. I want to put the number in the thread. So if anybody want to call in, feel free to call in. I feel free to call in and share your thoughts. Share if you have anything that you want to share. The number scrolling right there. You can call in. You can share it with us, and just your viewpoint is always welcome here. The Book of Romans say, it say, God through our Lord Jesus Christ, we have now received the reconciliation. Therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man, death through sin. If you're not loving yourself, what are you doing? You're sinning. Self-love. We're not perfect, so we're gonna slip up. We're gonna do things, but when you purposely do it, that's not a sign of self-love because you know what you're doing. You know it's a sin. Now I'm gonna take it a step further, and I'm gonna just keep it come from here, come from here. So many people out here in the world, they so busy doing things to impress. Everybody do things to impress. They get so wrapped up in how much money they can make, what the money makes them look like. Well, if I dress like this, it make me look good. If I dress like that, it make me look cheap. If I drive this type of car, I look like I'm balling. If I do this, I look like I'm on top of the world. Well, that's not a form of self-love. That's a form of materialism love. You like the material things. It's nothing wrong with liking beautiful things and nice things. But when you become so wrapped up and consumed into everything is about, I got to get that. I got to get that because that's the style. I got to get this because so-and-so got it. When you start to slip off and forget your purpose in life, and it becomes, when your whole life is focused on making another dollar more than you got, that's when it becomes greed. That's not self-love, that's greed. Especially when you're not doing anything with it to help the next person. I'm not saying you go out and work and break your back and bust your behind to take care of somebody, but you got to stop and think. Do you love your neighbor? Do you love your fellow man? I know a lot of people that got tons of money and they hold it to their chest. When they die, the money's still there. They died a lonely death. Nobody that loved them because they really didn't love themselves. They loved the material life more than they did themselves, because if they love themselves, self-love means putting yourself in a situation to be loved and cherished by somebody else. That's a form of self-love, not the form, a form. And we're going to take it a step further. We'll go a step further. The book of Second Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 3:18, and it say, and we who unveil faces all reflect the glory of the Lord. See, if we doing things that's in line with the fact that God is a loving God, he loves us so much, he gave Jesus for us. If we reflect on those things like that, and we're reflecting like the glory of the Lord, being transformed in his image with intensifying glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. If you love yourself, you're going to continue to project yourself to people. People will know it. Just your presence will give that off. But if you're one of those people that walk in the room and all of a sudden everybody's attitude get kind of dark, or they kind of don't really want to socialize because you're just obnoxious, or just not really, they're not comfortable with you, you got some things going on. Self-love draws love. And that's what people get it mixed up. Well, I'm a good person. I make everybody laugh. Okay, that's good. Are you loving yourself? Are you happy within yourself? I mean, anybody can make somebody laugh. Comedians make people laugh. And if you look at the statistics and you look at TV, you realize you see so many comedians commit suicide because they're miserable. They're going through depressions. There's no self-love in that. A lot of them crack jokes to make it through a day. So you can't get self-love mixed up in the midst of materialism, how popular you are, and things like that, because that's a distraction. And if you get so hooked up on that, then guess what you're doing? You're putting something before the honor of God. Because anytime you start to worship anything more than you do God, you got a problem, because you should not be putting any emblem, any material, anything or any person before him. He's a good God, but guess what? He's a jealous God as well. And when I say jealous, I don't mean like a jealous boyfriend, y'all, well, you know the difference. You know what I'm saying? And also like I was speaking earlier, say a lot of people think, well, I got to look like this, man. I love myself. I got to dress good. It's okay to dress nice. It's okay to do this and do that. But always keep in mind that if your mind get consumed and caught up in that have to have, when you already got something decent, just have to have to keep up with, the phrase, to keep up with the Joneses. Hey, my name Jones and we ain't always got it. But anyway, just to say you got to keep up with the Joneses or to look good or be able to, point it out what you got, then that's when you're getting conformed into the world. Because the whole world is about what? One up in the next person, doing better than the next man, showing off the next person. Those are the ways of the world. People may not want to admit it, but those are the ways of the world. The average person in the world nowadays, their thing is to brag about what they got, brag about who they done. Everything is about making them look good, but it's not in a good manner. It then got to the point now, in the streets, the little young guys, they're bragging on how many bodies they caught. That's not self-love. That's ignorance. I got 3 bodies. You think that's something good because you took a life? But everything in the world has conformed to the shape of this world, and everything surrounds around what you got, what you done. And in the book of Romans 12:2, it say, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of the mind. And a lot of people don't understand me right now. They're like, man, when all of a sudden you start talking about the Bible? Well, guess what? I've always spoke, always a lot of things about me people don't understand. But if you think back, if you've been around me for a long time, and you think back, you realize, man, wait, Dub always had kind of spoke about the Bible. A lot of my decisions, I used to say, well, man, I know this ain't right, so I ain't doing. I've had my fair share of run-ins when I went and did things that I knew I had no business doing. I'm not perfect, but the thing is, I learn from them. See, we all gonna make mistakes. Learning from them is a form of self-love. When you learn from a mistake and you don't go down that road again, it's because you love yourself enough to know that that was wrong and I shouldn't be doing it. But when you know something is out of order, it's against God's will and you continue to do it, that's not self-love. So it's a lot of people out here, they'll tell you, well, God is forgiving, he know your heart. Yeah, he know your heart. And the key word is he know your heart. He created you. He know that you know better. So there's no way around. Well, I really did know. He know you. He know your heart. I'm gonna pull another scripture because I'm just glancing through them and I'm just looking like, wow, this part, this is not a scripture, but this here is stating how it's saying. This is something that I was reading and said, we struggle with so many things, but the one thing we need, we neglect. We choose things that never wanted us. Bad friends, bad relationships, bad situations, just bad decisions. We choose them over a God that says you are wonderfully made. Before the world looked at you and said that you are not good enough. How many times have you been in a situation where you just felt, everybody say you're in the classroom, most kids when they're in school, I can make it better than that. Fellas, when you're on a basketball court, every time people start to pick the team, and they say, well, okay, I got this person, I got that person. It's always that one person that nobody really want because they feel that person ain't good enough. That's how life is. When that person that never get picked to play the game, that's a letdown to that person. Their self-esteem gets shot. They start to feel, I'm just not good enough to play ball. Nobody ever picked me. Well, guess what? You have people in life that feel that way because everything is so down on them, and the way the system is, they just feel I'm not good enough for this. You have women in relationships that feel I'm just so much of a bad person that I don't deserve a good man. I'm not good enough to have a man to take care of me. I'm not good enough to have a man that's good to me. So they just, what do? They settle for what they can get. And what do they get? A problem. Vice versa, go for men too. Oh, I'm just not good enough to find a good woman, so I got to deal with this. No, never settle. Settling is a form of no self-love, low self-esteem. A person that loves themselves will never settle because you know your worth. You know your worth. And if you know your worth, you love yourself. Now, if a person don't know their worth, they'll fall for anything, they'll accept anything, they'll live through years and years of anything just because they don't know their self-worth. The book of Ephesians, for he chooses us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. In love, he predestined us for adoption of sonship through Jesus Christ in accordance with his pleasure and will. See, everything has to be done through his accordance and will. He give us the option of making choices. We have the choices. We have the knowledge to make a right or a wrong choice. A lot of us always choose the wrong choice because it seems more fitting to the world. Because it's easier to do the wrong thing than it is to do the right thing. A lot of times we get more pleasure out of doing wrong than we do doing right. Because if you do right, what's the use? It's no fun. You do wrong, it's all right at the moment. It's fun. Everybody's upholding you. Oh man, yeah, he did it, man. Where they're gonna be standing? They're not gonna be the one standing in front when it's time to be judged. They're not the one gonna be standing there. It's you. So this self-love situation, it goes a long way. A long way. The book of Romans just states that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. That was a form of love. That was a form of love to show us how much he loved us. So if Christ loved you that much, you should love yourself even more. Christ loved you enough to give his life. You should love yourself enough that for it reflects off to the next. It constantly reflects like a domino effect. He loved us. we love us. So we love the next man. We teach people how to have self-love, self-esteem. People don't understand a lot of things about me. One of the things about me, and sometimes I think I'm crazy. It could be somebody that I know don't like me, don't really want to be bothered with me, but I still say things or do things to try to help build them up. I don't know. At first, I didn't know why. And I kept saying, man, I must be an idiot. I must be some goofy, man. Why am I always trying to help somebody that really don't want me to help them? But that's just my character. That's just who I am. That's what I was put here to do. It's not up to me to judge or pick who I get to help or, oh, I'm not helping him. He don't like me. My physical and my flesh speaks that sometimes, and I have to correct myself because, yeah, I'm still a human. So sometimes my flesh just want to say, man, I'm not, no. And I say it too. I'll come out in a heartbeat and I say, you ain't helping me, I ain't helping you. But in the end, guess what? I still help. Because when I sit and think about how much God helped me through what I've done in life, I'm amazed. I'm amazed to be alive, 52 years old. My life is a blessing. Everything that I've done, how did I live to make 52? That's a blessing. And I love myself. And that's why I continue to do things, even though people look at me crazy. You shouldn't do it, man. They don't like you, don't do this. And my physical jump up and get in, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to help nobody. Yet I still do because I'm obedient. Because I know that even though my physical don't want to help this person, my heart is telling me help this person. Because guess what? When I was ignorant and I was that person that was doing exactly what this person doing, somebody helped me. Somebody spoke to me and showed me that, man, you got to love yourself a little bit more than this. You think you love yourself. You don't love yourself. That's what, I had to get that hardcore lesson. I had to be set down to a point where I couldn't escape. I couldn't walk away and run away no more. And I had to be talked to. And that's what happened. And a lot of people might look, and sometimes I still have to correct myself. I love myself. And that's how I'm learning to love others. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I used to didn't because I didn't care who liked me or who didn't. I was like, I figured, oh man, I'm the man. No, I wasn't the man. I was an idiot. I was a fool. I was stuck on material things. And at that time, I thought money is what made everybody happy. Money was a problem. Money brought people around me that I didn't want. Money brought people around me that I didn't need. The more money you get, the more issues you got. When you broke, it just seemed like, oh my God, we sit and wonder how we gonna do this, but guess what? You got a little peace too, because you don't have all these people reaching at you saying they need. When you got money, you got hands coming from everywhere. So that, the fact of somebody actually letting me know, man, you got to love yourself more than you do, man. You out here doing these things, man. That's not self-love. And it didn't build no self-esteem to me, because that kind of tore me apart, because I never knew who to trust, what to do, how I felt, because it was all for the wrong reason. When I got that second chance and I started building up the fact of who I was, accepting myself, because what I was doing was trying to buy this facade that I'm this person when I'm really this person. Oh, I'm hardcore when I'm really, I'm not no, how do you say, a pin cushion or some mushy bear, but at the same time, I'm not the person that was put out there to be. I can be if I'm pushed, but I'd rather not. I've learned to love myself, and it enabled me to love others. And I can see that's a huge change in me. A lot of people that I still deal with nowadays, when they do me wrong, the old person, the one that didn't love himself, that didn't have no love for nobody else, would have handled it a total different way. And at times I go, man, I done got soft. I let people get away with things. And then when I'm off to myself, God tell me, you know what? That's called maturity. It's called you're growing up. You realize you don't have to fight people the same. You don't have to do to people what they do to you. Let me deal with that when it's time for me to talk to them. So, a lot of things that go on, I put it in his hands because he showed me the love, and I'm loving myself in order to love the next. And same with the murder rate going on out here. These guys running around here talking about some they protect themselves at all costs. They don't love themselves. Because if they love themselves, they'll stop and think about, man, wait a minute, if I kill this person, my life is done. They don't think about it. They can't think about it because all the chemicals in the stuff they smoke now, their minds are gone. The stuff they putting in their bodies, that's not self-love. They trying to escape from things. Low self-esteem, whatever it may be, the stuff they smoke now, all these enhanced chemicals, they got different names. They got stuff in bags, look like cereal boxes, give them all these fruity names, but think about all the stuff that they done used to make them. Brain cells gone. It's not self-love. Anytime you insert stuff like that in your body, you could not possibly love yourself. I get on my own case. I got a problem. Food, that's my weakness. Sometimes when I get depressed, I eat. Even when I'm not depressed, I eat. But I have to control. Sometimes I just tell myself, nope, you don't even need it. Your eyes want it, your stomach begging you not to do it. And sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. I'm a human. But it goes back to the same point. When you putting things in your body, it's deteriorating your body. That's not self-love. If the body is the temple, you wouldn't be tearing down the temple if you really love God and you had that love for yourself. And that's why I have to start getting on myself and making myself do things that normally would take me out of my comfort zone. Do I like to exercise every day? No, I don't exercise. By the time I get home from work, I want to go to sleep. But I got to make myself do other things because guess what? I got to show myself, hey, man, this is how you take care. This is love. This is self-love. You can't love her. You can't love this person. You can't love that. You can't love nobody until you love yourself. We tell people we do. And in our minds, we really, believe, oh, I love you. Yeah, but you're still tearing yourself apart. So before we go to loving on others, we got to love ourselves first, man. Just, hey, it sounds cruel, but that's the way it is. Luke 12:7, it's saying, in fact, even the hairs on your head are all numbered. So I'm gonna use that as an example. If the hairs on your head is numbered, that means that God took out the time to figure out how many hairs, and we know we can't do it, but that's a lot of love for somebody to know exactly how many hairs on your head. There's been times where I may have said, man, you with your mate or something, and you see something, you go, what is this? And then, people make comments like, oh, I know every mark on your body. Sometimes person might be telling the truth because you studied the person you with. You studied their body to the point you know what's on their body and what's not. We can't tell them exactly how many hairs on their body, but we know what mark is and ain't there permanently. But when you go to doing that, that's a type of love. But man, God knows every hair that's on my body, every string of hair on my head. That's coming from a human standpoint, that's a scary kind of love, But we accept it. But I just want to say this, speaking on self. I know sometimes I seem to jump right off because I just say what comes to my mind when I'm being told to say something, because you never know who need to hear what. I just say it. But back to the self-love situation and these kids out here in the street. We got to do better. We can't keep on blaming these youngsters out here for doing something that some of them probably don't even know. They have no idea the consequences of what's going on because nobody took the time to show them. because we too busy wrapped up into other things, trying to get this. And I actually was listening to a conversation at work the week just passed, where one of the guys was saying, "Man, I went to get lunch, and I'm listening to the lady talking about how she buy weed from her son. I won't buy from nobody but him because I trust his weed." What kind of love is that? Now, when you got parents like that showing that, showing it's okay to do this, that's not love. She can't love herself, and she's teaching him to do wrong. So now, guess what? He gonna when he as he get older, he ain't got no self love because he gonna think it's okay for him to do the same thing with his child. The self love it tramples down like the domino effect, like I said earlier. A lot of things that we do, people just don't realize the consequences of each action and how it goes down to the next generation. And just listening to that conversation was scary because back then, my mother would have no parts of anything that I was doing illegal, anything. And to hear that a mother would say, "Well, I get my weed from my son. I don't buy it from nobody else. I make sure he get the money." First off, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Second of all, it's scary because you're teaching him to be illegal. You're teaching him that it's okay to sell drugs, and you really showing the lack of self-love for yourself as a mother, as a person, and you really contributing to the next generation to have a lack of self-love because you're not teaching him to love himself. So it's so many things that we blame the youth for. That it's their, well, I can't say their fault. It's the society's fault, but it's really a lot of the parents' fault. Nobody want to step up and take. They're too busy getting wrapped up into material things and the ways of the world that they're not even taking responsibility, at home. What was this? Yeah, that one won't happen. It's just certain times, when you see certain. That's bad when you see certain cars and you just have to kind of like overlook it. Nah, but it goes to the situation. So I want to say what's up to my man Howard in the building. Howard, I'm surprised he haven't said anything yet. But basically we're talking about self-love. How can you love something else if you're not loving yourself? Self-love, not the selfish love, because there's two types. Now, selfish love is what you see a lot of people shovel out a lot. Selfish love is that love where, oh man, yeah, I got this, I'm gonna do they do for you. But when they do it, it's with that intentions of getting something in return. Not right, maybe not right at that moment, but they do it with that intentions, and they store it in their mind. Okay, so when I need this person to do something, I'm gonna just slide this in front. Remember, I did that for you. That's some selfish love. That's not self-love, that's selfish. And that's what spread it out throughout the world. That's everywhere. Don't nobody want to help anybody. If somebody they can see a lady car stalled in the street. They'll go push her out, but they expecting something for it. I've gotten out of my car many a times and probably helped people change flats. It don't have to be no lady. Who say all men don't know how to change a flat? I mean, if somebody's in need, help them. But you have to be smart enough to kind of assess the situation. Now, you don't want to just jump out and go help anybody end up being the situation. So you got to assess things, but you got so many people that they so screwed up that they think, well, if I do, you got to do. That's selfish. That's selfish love. Well, I got to do this because God watching. No, that don't make no sense, my brother. Yeah, God's watching, but He know your heart. You only doing it because He watching. He wants you to do it from your heart because you want to do it. You love yourself to the point that you want to make sure the next person is okay. I catch myself doing that a lot. And then I question myself, like, why do I even care if this person feelings hurt? Or why do I even care if this person feelings not hurt? Why should it bother me? But then I think about it, I say, man, you never know what situation's going on. You never know what a person's dealing with in life. You never know what that person's mindset is when something happens. So I try to look at things in a different manner. It's so many things that went on in my family as of the past 3 or 4 years that it makes me look at life totally different. I lost so many loved ones, and I sit back and go, man, I've never really lost this many loved ones this close around, this close to me. And when it started happening, it just make you like start to look at things like, this is real. I've seen people lose people, and I said, man, my prayers. But then at the same time, when it starts to happen to you, it gets real. My man Howard say that's why Jesus said, when you do good unto someone, let not your alms be known. Exactly. You got people that do things and they have to brag about who they helped. They have to put it out. Yeah, I went and helped this. I went and did. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you can have somebody doing things and it's cool for them to say, because guess what? They the type of people that everybody want to do what they do. So if they help somebody and everybody find out that they help, guess what? Everybody else, not everybody, because most people gonna still, those that's doing what want to be like this person gonna go and follow suit. So now we got other people being helped because they saw this person help somebody. But you still have that selfish type of love where, oh, I did this, we gave this to these people, and blah, blah, blah. And then they go and they air it out to everybody. Sometimes you got to stop and think when you do things for people, even though they're grateful for it, it can still be kind of embarrassing when you putting it out there like that. Because now they not only are they in a situation where they in need, now they got everybody staring at them like, because the way of the world is, if somebody's homeless, they're useless. Or if somebody don't have this, it's because they're drunk. It's always the world make assumptions of why people in situations. They ain't got a job. It's because you never know what it was. They can be one of the hardest workers in the world and just happen to get laid off. Look at this pandemic. So many people lost their jobs due to this pandemic. And it has nothing to do with them not being a good worker, with them being lazy. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some lazy people. There's some lazy people that still got jobs. I don't know how they still got them, but they do. So you can't assume, man. You have to be able to look at the situation and just be obedient. Yeah, if somebody needs your help, help them. Because guess what? At some point, that could be you. That could be your family member. God, remember, you're only here because God showed you love. He showed you selfless love. He gave up something that he loved dearly so you could have life. So it's not your job to choose the situation. Don't be giving because you want to brag about it or you want to look like the big shot. Give it from your heart. Love yourself so much that you can love your brother to the point that you can help them without expecting something. And that right there is what loses a lot of people's interest. Oh man, I work hard to get mine. Why would I give it away? You didn't work hard to get it. Because if God didn't want you to have it, you wouldn't have it. I don't care how hard you work. You got a job, you need to be thanking God every morning. Guess how many people's not going to work? If you got a car, you need to be thanking God. Guess how many people walking to work? I got a guy ride a bike every day to work. I don't know how far he lives from the job, but every day he's there riding a bike. He's there. And then you got guys that got nice cars, don't even come to work half the time. So you got to stop and think, man. All of these people get wrapped up in the material things. And no, I'm not helping nobody because they need to go get a job. Stop judging people. You can't love somebody if you judging them. There's people that's done me wrong in so many ways. People right now that I don't understand. My flesh don't understand why I speak to them. My flesh don't understand what it is, why it is I even be in like contact. But my heart is telling me something different, because guess what? I was that person that needed to be redirected. It took me getting locked down for an old man to redirect me. An old man redirected me. And it changed my mind about a lot of things. And that's one of the reasons that people may, and I always say it, you may feel that you're getting over on me, and everybody around me may feel that I'm stupid and I'm allowing people to get over on me. But one thing God did give me, he gave me that how do you say, that grind effort. He gave me that grind to survive. He put the work ethics in me to make it. I'm determined. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to make it. I'm going to keep going because you tell me I can't. I'm going to keep moving forward when you keep pushing me back. I'm going to just come, every time I come back, I'm going to come back a little stronger. So you're going to have to push me more. Eventually, you're not going to be able to push me no more. The same very ones that stand and look down on you, it's the same ones that end up looking up at you. But it's not your job to look down at them like they did you. It's your job to grab them by the hand and pull them up, just like you was pulled up. Because if God didn't pull us up, and when I say pull us up, by giving his son's life, if he didn't pull us up, none of us will be here right now. None of us. So no matter what somebody doing to you, it ain't your job to check them. I'm wrong for it, because I'll get mad in a heartbeat, and I will. I'll say something to somebody, which I'm a human. Sometimes you have to let people know where you stand, because God don't want no bully, but he don't want no coward either. If you're afraid to speak to man about something like this, you be afraid to claim his name. God don't like bullies, but he don't like cowards either. I'm neither one of them. I don't like bullies, and I ain't never been a coward. So a lot of people, so that's just, when people look at me, oh man, you know, if I was you, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't I wouldn't talk to them. That's not for me to decide. When it's time for me to not talk or whatever, when God feel I need to take this person out of your life, period, he'll do it. He'll do it. He's taken people out of my life that's, not passed away. I'm just saying he removed people from my life, my circle, from around my surroundings that I've been around for years. I never thought it happened, because I'm like, man, I ain't never think, but he did it. I rely on him to tell me when it's time for this, when not human, because the next man may feel just like my flesh is. Oh, you did me wrong. We done. I ain't talking to you. That's not the right way. What if God had felt that way with us, with Adam? Hey, you sinned. You ate that apple. Your life done. You through. I'm out. What if God would have been like that? I know a lot of people are saying, what is he talking about? We got to treat people like God treated us. We got to have self-love for ourselves first. We can't be out here talking about we love anything, anybody. We don't even love ourselves. And a lot of us don't. We can say we do because we dress nice. We can say we do because we drive fresh. That's material. That's material. Y'all better think about it. Just think about it. He said in Isaiah 43:4, since you are precious in my sight, since you are honored and I love you, I will give you other men in the place of the people that stand for your life. So guess what he's saying? Those people that you was close to, that you felt, oh my God, it basically goes with what I was just saying. God will remove those things when it's time. He'll remove those people from your life and put other people in your life in that place. He know when is the right time. A lot of times we think we know. No, we don't. Sometimes that person that's doing things that's really irritating you and making you want to get street on them, a lot of times that can be several things. It can be a call for a cry for help. That can be your test from God to see where you stand. That can be your test to see how strong you are. That can be your test from God. But you got to also keep in mind, the devil tests people too. That can be your test from the devil to see if he can get you to be like the person that's doing it to you. And the next thing you know, you've done it. And you just as bad as the person who pulled it on you. Since people forget the fact, they forget that the devil got powers like God. He don't have the exact powers, but he know your mind. He can read your mind. He know when you're going through things. He know when to do things for you to make you think, oh yeah, that's a blessing. Every blessing ain't a good blessing. People don't understand you when you say that. But every time you're blessed, it's not a good blessing. You got to be careful where these blessings coming from and what you giving up in return for them blessings. Because you'll sign yourself on for a blessing that you can't get rid of. Then what? It don't matter what you got to be careful. So when these people, when people looking at me thinking something wrong with me because I still speak to certain people, whatever, what hurts me, if it don't kill me, guess what it do? That's a lesson learned. I know how to manipulate around, not manipulate, but I know how to maneuver. I know how to handle you now because I know. I'm not so blind to the fact of things. I know the warnings. I know when to bag up, and I don't know when to give you the stiff arm. But until God tell me it's cut off and he pull you away, that's not my place. Because my test may be to help you come out of that. We all get tests every day. We don't even know it. But it goes back to the fact, if you're not loving yourself, you don't even know you're being tested because you're being too open to what the world wants, what the world thinks, how everybody in the world feel. I make comments about when people treat me certain ways, my flesh jumps out. Oh man, I'm not gonna do this. I do it all the time. I'm a human. I don't purposely do it. That's the difference. But God's still working on me. And when I collect myself, I'll make sure I'll make sure I correct it. Because I don't ever want nobody to feel that, oh, he's a hypocrite. He do this, but he say that. He say this, but he do that. I'm a human just like all y'all. I ain't perfect. Never claim to be perfect. I'm so far from perfect. Man, my P ain't even in my name nowhere. I'm far from perfect. But I'm trying. So my thing to everybody out there that's listening, before you go trying to love anything, anybody, let's start learning how to love ourselves. Self-love is the most important love in the world, other than loving God. Well, if you love God, if you loving yourself, you loving God. So self-love, and I don't mean, self-love by showering yourself with gifts and material. That's not self-love. That's a worldly thing. I'm talking about actual self-love. But until next time, I just want to share that with everybody. Okay. Yeah, well, Lee McDaniel, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm going to go in here. And I just like to thank everybody for supporting, sharing in. Y'all make sure each and every Sunday at the same time we'll be here. If there's anything that you feel you want to discuss, if you ever feel that you want to come on and speak, whatever it is, contact me. I'm always open for suggestions. I'm open for guests. Brother Howard, I would love to listen to you. You talked the other day on Brother to Brother, and you was very interesting, man. I would really love to hear what you have to say, man. So, me and you gonna talk. Me and Brother Howard, we gonna talk. So what's up, my brother Rob? That's my business. That's my buddy right there, my brother Rob the poet. I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. And next week we'll be back. Like I said, anybody, if you're going through something, there's something you feel need to be discussed because there's just situations that you're dealing with, contact me. Let's talk about it. Let's see if this is something that you can we can bring up and we can get put out there. And if I can't figure it out, maybe if you let me know ahead of time, maybe I can have somebody to come in and we can get it right. We can get it discussed. So on that note, we're gonna get ready to get out of here. I just want to thank everybody. And that's the way we're gonna end the night, y'all. Y'all continue to y'all continue to follow everything with Dub C's Entertainment Network. We're gonna do some good things. If you got any ideas about doing something for the homeless, please contact me because I actually want to start doing something for the homeless, doing something for domestic violence. So please contact me if you have any idea as far as that. And let's work, y'all. Woo. All right.
Luke 12:7 says, indeed,